Hey guys, today I want to give you my little OnX moment, and basically it's buying my first farm. You know, it's something that we all desire or want, and it's one of the greatest assets you could possibly own. But before you buy a property, you know, it needs to be financially smart, and at least for me, that consists of bringing income in on the piece of property. Whether that be timber value, CRP income, or tillable land, you know, those are a few things that I'm definitely looking for whenever I'm going to buy a piece of property. So today, to give you a quick rundown on my piece of property, it consisted of basically a 60-acre tract, and it has 15 acres of CRP income. I've got approximately 6 tillable acres that I can plant in the food plot or put it in ag field, whatever it may be. And it also has a ton of timber value. In fact, I was able to do a select cut, and the select cut alone almost paid for the entire down payment on the piece of property. So over 6 years time, I figured it up that I'm going to be able to shave over $1,000 an acre, possibly $1,200 an acre off the initial selling price or buying price. So after deciding, you know, this farm is definitely financially smart investment, and obviously I want it for a hunting property, set up of my own whitetail paradise. After looking at my OnX maps and seeing that basically I can only access this property from the north side and the west side of the property, I really wanted to be able to access it from the south. So before I ever purchased the ground, I was actually able to negotiate with the owner, you know, through the real estate agent, on an easement that comes in off the highway on the south end of this property. So now I can actually access this property from 3 different sides, which is huge. I mean, it allows me to get in and out of different tree stands for different wind directions. So now at this point I'm dissecting the property. I'm looking at for the access and exit, which now, like I said, I've got 3 of the 4 sides of the property I can access and exit the property. I'm looking for food, water, bedding, and potential stand locations on different winds. For food on the property, I've got a lot of acorn producing trees, a lot of great vegetation, but I've got 6 acres of tillable land I can put food plots in or make bedding, whatever I want to do with it, which is going to be in food plots. So that's a huge amount of food right off the bat. For water, I've got large drainage ditches that go through the property that do hold water quite often. Not to mention the river is about 3/4 of a mile away from here, so I definitely got the water as well. As far as bedding goes, I'll be honest, I had to create that, and that was through the select cut and making it super thick in the area that I want to make the bedding area. The whole south side of this property, essentially, I'm going to make the bedding area, and that's what I decided to select cut a little bit harder than the rest of the property, so that way it's going to really thicken it up and the deer is really going to hold in there tight, especially on top of those ridges. And the next step was to find stand locations, and I want stand locations where I can hunt every single wind possible. As I said earlier, I have access and exit routes from 3 of the 4 sides of the property, therefore I'm able to have a stand location basically for every single wind direction. So that is a huge benefit, and like I said, after reviewing all this and tying this all together and going through my OnX and putting my waypoints and color coordinating, you know, the food, the water, the stand locations, the existing deer sign that was already here, and looking at the wind and how it coordinated with the lay of the land, I was certain this property was for me. You know, I had all these variables under control, but there was one big problem that I did not like and was holding me from buying this property. And it's a 10.5 acre piece that butts up to this piece of property, and I knew that if I made that sanctuary on that south side of the property, it would be butting up right against that neighboring property, and would honestly hurt me if you know, they're hunting that property. It's a landlocked 10.5 acre piece, and I knew that if I made that sanctuary there, it was going to benefit them probably more than it would me, and kind of would defeat the purpose. So through using OnX, I was able to track down the landowner, make a phone call, and to make a long story very short, I was able to purchase that piece of property as well. So now this farm, instead of being 60 acres, is a little over 70 acres. So sometimes it just takes being creative and thinking outside the box to really get the job done. And that's exactly what I did here. I was able to purchase that extra 10.5 acres of land. I was able to get an easement before I ever purchased the property, so I could actually put in another little road system to access the property. So sometimes you just got to be creative and, you know, work with the real estate agent and work with, you know, the seller. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this little OnX video, and good luck to all of you this fall.